We're out on the Hanse 360, and I have to say, before we get into this, I'm loving this. This is one of the best days I've had out on the water for a little while. It's March, there's no one else around. We've got 18 to 20 knots of wind, full main, full jib, and currently we're sailing about as hard on the wind as you comfortably want to, which is about 30 degrees apparent. And we're doing 7.1 knots, and that's it's not to be sniffed at for a cruising boat. One of the things that really stands out about the 360's cockpit layout is that everything you need to operate the main and the jib are right here within reach. I've got the jammers, I've got the main winches, and a quick note on those. They're size 40 as standard, and for a fairly insignificant price upgrade, you can go up to the 45s, and they make quite a lot of difference in terms of the power you've got to winch things on. Got rope tidy bags down here. I've got a nice comfortable helm position. I can sit out here if I want to, and I've got a great view down there. I've got a Raymarine I-70 here that I can configure with speed, depth and wind. We'll come back to the rest of the instruments in a minute. I actually just need to put a tack in because we're about to run out of water. You'll notice I'm not needing to do anything because it's a self-tacking jib. All of the stuff I've got down here, such as main halyard, jib sheet, I've got the equal and opposite over on the port side, so if I need to go and do something for the main sheet, I just head over there and I can get that whilst remaining at the helm. So from a safety point of view and a simplicity point of view, short-handed, this is about as good as it gets. So in terms of sail configuration, all Hanse models, every model ever made in fact, is made with a main and a self-tacking jib. So we've got a self-tacking jib up front here. This particular boat has got the slab reefed main, and it's also got the performance pack. And what the performance pack means is that instead of cross-cut Dacron sails, you get a tri-radial laminate sail. And a tri-radial sail gives the sailmaker a bit more control over the sail shape, so you get the draft a bit further forward in the sail. But the biggest difference is the sail cloth. And a laminate cloth has a lot less stretch in it than a Dacron sail. And that again means that when a gust comes, the sail holds its design shape, and instead of just heeling over, you get a bit more drive forwards, and it makes quite a lot of difference. Whilst we're talking performance pack, you also get Dyneema halyards for the main and the jib. That means that the halyard tension stays on better. You always get a little bit of creep, but generally they're a lot better than a braid on braid line. And also you get these nice composite steering wheels as well. The 360 also comes with an in-mast furling option. So obviously with slab reefing, it does involve a little bit more heading forward onto the coach roof to tuck the sail away at the end of the day. With in-mast furling, you can do it all from back here in the cockpit. The sail area is reduced slightly, but I have to say with modern sail design, we're talking about 5% sail area. So if the ultimate simplicity is the desire, then the in-mast furling's a really good option as well. Now I've got my trusty autopilot on, which means I can show you around the rest of the cockpit. So in the end of the cockpit table here, I've got a 12-inch Raymarine chart plotter. I've recently done a course on this thing, and actually what you can do in terms of configuring it to show you what you want when you want is pretty stunning. The 12 is an upgrade, the 9 is the standard screen that goes here, which is still a decent size, but I have to say the 12 is rather nice. There are a couple of cockpit table options. This is the larger one, which has obviously teak leaves, a bit of storage in here, and also a rather nice fridge in the end there. The standard table is a little bit narrower and has the plotter up on a scanstrut pod here, which has got its own benefits actually, because the scanstrut pod swivels. So if you want to rotate it and point it towards your helm, that's rather nice. You can also rotate it 90 degrees, sit it here, and do a bit of course plotting from here as well whilst you're sat on the bench. So pros and cons to both of those. Rather neat little pop-up light there as well. In terms of the rest of the Raymarine instrumentation, I've got an autopilot control here. I've got an I-70 control here, which will do speed, depth, wind, whatever else I want to configure it to. And over on the starboard side, I've got another I-70, so I can set that up. And that means that whichever helm I'm at, I've got all the information I need. If I want to operate the pilot without being over here, there's a pull-in on the side of the screen. I can do that from the plotter. they also come with an autopilot remote, so I can sit there and do that as well. So 360 forward of the wheels has a lovely wide cockpit, and one of the really nice design features is the fact that they're nice deep backrests here, so when you're sat here it's not in the small of your back, you feel really well supported and it's a comfortable place to spend time. The spray hill also comes back a decent way, so these two forward seats here, you've got a great view forwards, you've got your autopilot remote control, and actually it's a nice place to pass the time. In terms of storage, you've got loads, so there isn't a locker there on the starboard side, and that's deliberate to allow more space for headroom in that aft cabin. But what you do have is a huge locker here. Now this is the 2-cab layout, so in lieu of a third cabin, it's got a vast locker that goes down here, and you've also got access to that back from the back of the galley. And then a little bit further back in the cockpit, you lift up these folding seats, and you've got 2 big lazarettes. There's one here and one on the other side as well. So in terms of storage, you're really well covered. The bathing platform here folds down. There's a mid-step that comes down, and that platform then stays at about 18 inches above the water. So getting in and out of a dinghy is really straightforward because the bulk of the dinghy goes under the platform, and that means you're getting into the middle of the dinghy rather than trying to do a leap of faith as you try and get into it from an anchorage. We'll leave the autopilot at the helm and have a look up front. So again, really nice wide decks, nice clean coach roof, decent grab rails. You've got side gates here for access from the pontoon. This particular boat's got 350 watts of solar panels here, and that does quite a lot in terms of just keeping the batteries topped up whilst you're underway, or at anchor of course. So right up at the bow, we've got the furler for the self-tacking jib. This boat's got the composite bowsprit, which is an upgrade on top of the standard metal bow roller. But what this gives you is somewhere to hang a Jenniker off or a cruising chute. The yellow halyards there just attached to where the tack point is, just to show you where it is. The anchor and chain is then hung underneath, and you've got a windlass in here with a wired remote control, and that wired remote control has a chain counter as well, so you can see how much you're dropping down. Just a quick note on the engine as we head back up the river after a fab sail is we're motoring. This has got the 40 horsepower with a 3-blade folding prop, and we're running at 2,354 RPM, which is fairly typical for cruising revs on a Yanmar engine, and we're doing 7.5 knots of boat speed through the water, and that is phenomenal going. So that's the kind of thing the 40 horsepower gives you over the 30, is just that extra grunt to really get home when you want to. The 4-metre beam becomes really apparent down here in the saloon because you've got a lovely saloon space. And 4 metres, just for some kind of reference, is what you'd expect on a 40-footer from 10 years ago. So to have it on a 36 makes quite a big difference. The other thing just to point out, this is the teak finish on the cabinetry. So that's the table, the cupboards and the doors. There are other finishes, the chestnut and the oak and the mahogany. So you've got high-level cupboards up here on both sides. They open upwards. You've got nice metal catches that aren't going to get brittle and break, and you've got a solid teak fiddle rail in there as well. So loads of high-level storage. The windows in the coach roof, like the other 0 series models, they open outwards, and the top edge of that window goes under the eyebrow of the deck, so you can have those open in the rain. There's a couple of options over here in terms of the saloon setup. So the standard table has a fixed plate that comes to there, and there isn't a leaf here to fold up to give something for these people sat here to go to. But what this table does offer is the opportunity to lower this leaf down, so that folds down against there, and the front of that seat comes out, and then this cushion fills in that space to make a really nice double berth over here. The other thing this table offers is a bit of storage in here, a bit of bottle storage in there, and then of course when this is folded up, you've got a huge table for people to sit at both sides of. So over here on the starboard side, there are 3 options. So what they call the B1 layout, this seat runs all the way to this bulkhead. There's no chart table, but you do get a longer seat. This is B2, where you have a chart table. It's got a lift-up lid for storage, and your instruments are laid out here. And then you've got B3, which is a cupboard that sits here, gives you space for an additional fridge or storage if you wanted. This seat gets a little bit shorter, to the tune of about 8 or 10 inches, but it does give you a little bit more storage space and still a chart table surface to operate on. And this particular boat's got a 32-inch TV mounted up here, which has got a masthead aerial to give it the signal. The 360's also got loads of light in here, so you've got ceiling hatches, coach roof hatches as well. This has got the comfort pack, therefore it's got a mosquito net and a blackout blind, and these side windows have got these pleated shades as well. The comfort pack also gives you those cockpit cushions outside too. Okay, let's go forward to the forward cabin. So one of the things the 360 is really impressive for is creating an owner's cabin that has a bed wide enough all the way to the front that you sleep the right way around in. And that's pretty unusual for a 36-footer. You can also order this with a second heads. So you've got the saloon heads back there. You can have a second heads here, which fits into this corner in lieu of this wardrobe. The bed changes slightly, so the bed then becomes a diagonal space, a similar area, but on an angle, and you have a little bit less standing space here. In addition to the options there, you've got a wardrobe either side on this particular configuration, and in either heads or no heads, you've got 3 opening hatches as well, so you've got loads of ventilation up here. Just at the back of the saloon on the starboard side is the heads. Now this heads is the same unit that the Hanse 410 benefits from. So if you've seen that video, you've got the forward end, which is a completely separated shower cubicle with a screen that comes across to keep it separate from the rest of the bathroom. You've got an electric loo on this particular one. It's manual as standard, but an electric upgrade's really popular. And you've got storage, you've got ventilation, you've got a hatch that you can open when it's raining. It's just a really, really well considered and thought out place. You can configure your 360 with either 2 or 3 cabins. So if you order the 3 cabin layout, you get 2 equal cabins at the back. This particular boat is a 2 cabin layout, so you've got your owner's cabin at the front and you've got this double back here. It's a hugely wide bed. It's just over 2 meters long. Because there deliberately isn't a cockpit locker here, you've got loads more headroom above the bed. You've also got a nice big wardrobe here and a drawer underneath. So the galley on the 360 is bottom of the companionway on the port side. You've got a huge work surface, and these cupboards here are really cleverly set back. So you've got all of this additional work surface here, which is really useful whilst you're prepping stuff up. You've got tons of cupboards, tons of drawers, cutlery drawers, bin drawers, just loads of space. You've got a sink and a half here with hot and cold tap. You've got a huge 135 litre fridge, which cleverly has both a top load and a front door down here. It's an L-shaped fridge that goes down and under, and it's particularly useful having double access to it. The cooker is a 2-burner hob with a gas oven. You can, as an option, have a grill in there as well. Because this is the 2-cabin layout, you get a bigger galley. So on the 3-cab layout, you've got a bulkhead here with the door through into the 3rd cabin. In this particular case, that bulkhead has shifted back to here. You then get this big utility cupboard, which in this particular case is tons of storage. So you've got a great big drawer that goes all the way back to the hull side, so you can imagine how much stuff you can get in there. You can also put an additional fridge in there or a freezer if you want to. And then at the back of here, you've got a door that opens through into the storage space, which is accessed both from here and from the top in the cockpit. And again, as you would hope in a galley, you've got tons of ventilation. You've got another hatch that opens with the eyebrow of the deck above it, so directly above the cooker, loads of ventilation whether it's raining or not. As you might expect, the engine is under the companionway stairs, and the 360 comes with Yanmar engines, either a 30 or a 40 horsepower. This particular one is the 40. This panel drops down to get to the belts behind here and the impeller, which is just down there. You've got 2 side panels that come off to give access to the other aspects of the engine that you might need to get to. It's on a sail drive as well, which you can access the Seacock to down there. Nice access to your header tank and the raw water strainer, and the dedicated engine start battery is tucked up just behind there to keep the cable runs nice and short. Either the 30 or the 40 comes with either a fixed proper standard, or then you can go for either a folding 2 or 3 blade, whichever suits you best.